What's going on, Dolphins fans? It's Connor from the Dolphins Dive, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down Miami Dolphins free agent moves. So far, they've been crushing, so I'm here to break it all down. So I'm going to start, obviously, the big Jalen Ramsey splash move on Sunday kind of changed the projection of free agency. I was big on trying to pursue Mike McGlinchey or maybe Dalton Schultz, but as soon as the Ramsey shoe fell, you knew they weren't going to make a big splash like that. Mike McGlinchey ends up going to the Broncos, but the Dolphins have continued to small but sure add to the team in areas that needed to be added to. So the first signing that we made in free agency, I believe, was Mike White, who's a very serviceable backup. I believe it was like a 2-year, $8 million deal, so not a huge commitment to a guy that if you need him to play a couple games, he'll be serviceable enough to win you games. He'll do just enough you need. He's not going to go out and win you games, but like go above and beyond is what I'm referring to. But he's able to be a game manager and take care of the football and do what's needed. So it's a very good backup to have. But honestly, probably my favorite signing so far, the Dolphins signed David Long to a very, very good deal. I believe it was 2 years, $11 million, so 5.5 on average, which is an absolute deal. The reason we probably got him so cheap was due to his injury history. He's dealt with some soft tissue stuff. But overall, he's literally a guy that the Titans had in the middle. He can do everything. He can stop the run, and he's very athletic to be able to fill pass lanes as well. So pairing him with Jerome Baker, we have a very athletic and shored up linebacker crew, and the entire linebacker crew kind of resembles the same thing because we brought back Duke Riley as well. And then we obviously have Channing Tindall. So our linebackers are athletic as fluff. Like literally, they all have basically sideline and sideline speed. They're all sure athletes, and David Long helped shore up that run defense. So that was probably my favorite addition so far. And then I don't know if I'm missing any small moves, but then earlier this morning, the Dolphins brought back Raheem Mostert on a 2-year, $5.6 million deal with 2.2 guarantees. So that's basically a $1 million deal. And if the Dolphins want to keep him next year, then they can, but they can cut him and move on with literally no dead cap. So very cheap for a guy that has tremendous upside. Like Raheem Mostert could very well be our number one back and be damn good at it, because the way he played last season, especially towards the end prior to his injury, and obviously you don't want to see someone get injured, but it was like a thumb injury. It's not a common injury. It's not like something that you're concerned about going into next year. Like that Buffalo game, he was playing his ass off. Like literally, obviously everyone knows Raheem Mostert for his like 4.2 speed, but he was running through people, and it wasn't just that game. He was doing it all season long. So when you get a starting running back potentially for $2.3 million, like that's a bargain. So that was a great deal. And then we brought back his other running mate, Jeff Wilson, on a 2-year deal that maxes out at 8.2, but I think the regular price isn't even that much. So we're keeping the running back room the same. Add someone in the draft, and I honestly am comfortable with that room. But in free agency, the Dolphins have literally just been getting bargains. Like we got starting running backs for a cheap price. David Long, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be a dude. He's going to be starting all 3 downs, and he's a hell of a player. So nothing like crazy expensive that we did, but it's all very solid moves. And I expect that to continue. I don't necessarily see the Dolphins going out and getting a splash player, especially after the Ramsey move. But adding an offensive lineman here, a tight end here, but like no top dollar guys, but just continuing to shore up, and eventually it's going to be good. So the only holes I see the Dolphins having, and I'm not saying to address in free agency, there's draft and there's further development of the current players on the team, would be right tackle and tight end. Literally, other than that, and punter as well. Thomas Moore said ideally we bring back. Just making sure no news got broke while I'm recording. But tight end, right tackle, punter, those are our only holes. Shore them up through the draft. Maybe add a cheap free agent here or there. I'd really like for the Dolphins to maybe go get a George Fant for a cheap price. He has potential to be a solid starting tackle. Worst case scenario is to start like he's your swing tackle who can play left or right tackle at a decent level. I'd like to see them maybe make that move. And then tight end, I honestly think at this point is probably best case scenario we get one in the draft. But I'd like to add some depth considering Durham Smythe's our only tight end on the roster now. So maybe go out and get a Foster Moreau hopefully for cheap, or someone on a cheaper end deal. But That's all I've got to say. I'm absolutely stoked with this free agency. Despite not having the most assets to spend on players, the Dolphins have done very good with what they've done. Comment down below your thoughts and what you want us to see us get as well. But that's going to be it for today's video. I appreciate you guys for watching. Until next time, I'll catch y'all.